He was a wonderful man. Whether you mean it or not, you have to say it during his last rituals, isn't it? Else people will think that you don't care about his death, you had no attachment, you are insensitive. But did you say it when he was alive? That's what matters. He would have felt tremendously happy if you did. Okay, fine. You may not be expressive in your emotions, but tell me, did you at least care to listen to him when he wanted to talk to you? Or did you negate or ridicule his feelings completely? Or just forwarded him some motivational quotes on how to be happy and some jokes on WhatsApp and felt that he'll be fine in a day or two? And you're done with your responsibility. Did you try to see beyond his laughter, smile, and fun? Fine. You may also not have the skill to identify his emotional state, as these skills are not yet taught to us in any school or university. But could you also not notice what was so visible? That he was always a bit distant from everyone, was not socializing much these days, was withdrawing from everyone, used to stay in his own shell, own world, confined in his own house, just staring at the walls and the ceiling. Didn't you notice his mood swings, his unusual behavior? Being either irrational or frustrating or aggressive or very silent, which he is not usually. If you didn't, you have failed him. Now he's gone and you're making all efforts to prove how dear he was to you, that how good you are, that he could talk to you and you would have left everything in the world to help him, but you didn't. Not even when he reached out to you. So come on, you all hypocrites, shut up. I wish that you really spend a little bit of time with him, listening him, hugging him, showing all these love you are showing now after he's gone. All your love and kindness doesn't matter at all now. He's not there anymore. Even if you receive 1% of this love and attention and understanding while he was alive, he would have been alive and not going crazy with happiness right now. Globally, 800,000 people die of suicide every year. That's one person every 40 seconds. By the time you finish watching this video, 10 to 15 people would have died due to suicide. Hundreds of people pop up at the funeral. If just one of these people stood by him, it would have been enough for him to be alive. We all are great in giving gyan. The easiest thing to say to someone who shares his or her pain with us are, talk to someone. You're not alone. Don't stress out. Take a break. Seek help. Be strong, etc. etc. What be strong? When a person is already breaking down, how can he be strong himself? Everyone gives advice. No one gives time and says, talk to me, I won't judge you. They can't take your advice when they are already suffering. Please understand and be sensitive. The last thing a broken person wants to hear is to stay positive or be strong or seek help. They want to talk and not hear all this. All these are perfect advices when a person is doing fine. But when they have already emotionally and mentally withdrawn from the world, they won't reach out to anyone for help. They have tried it already and felt dejected. You need to be sensitive enough to understand and reach out to them. Lend your ears without judgment, nothing else. Someone needs to be very patiently around them always, to whom they can vent out, they can trust that he or she is available to listen. But no one has time and patience for that. No one is actually a call away. They are all like, shall call you back in 5 minutes. Anything important? This is my personal experience too. Let's understand how a person reaches this stage and how we can try to prevent it. Right from childhood, at every stage of his life, a person's feelings which are not around joy, energy, enthusiasm are negated and ridiculed and not acknowledged and paid attention to. It makes them withdraw from the people who do so. A 7-year-old child tells a parent that I am scared to go to my bedroom to sleep alone as it's dark. Parents usually say, what rubbish, you're my child. How can you be scared? You're a strong girl. There's no one over there. Go sleep quietly. You need to get up early for your school. Instead, why don't you call her and let her sit next to you for a few minutes? Or you go with her and make her sleep. If you do so, her trust on you will increase. If you don't, she will go cry, shiver under the blanket. Her fear won't go away anyways. And gradually will stop sharing her feelings with you. A 15-year-old who gets poor score in his school exam gets scolded by his parents, gets compared with his classmates who get higher score. Why? Instead, can't you sit down with him to understand what are his dreams? What does he want to do in life if not study? Find out what he is good at, what are his skills and talent. Guide him. Not everyone is same. A 22-year-old who just got dumped by her boyfriend cries amongst her friends and they ridicule her feelings saying, you're such a drama queen, attention seeker. It happens, not a big deal. Forget it, move on, find another boy. A 40-year-old going through hardship in his relationship or lost a job is simply told it's fine, be strong, move on, you will find another better person or a better job. People around assume that he is fine and he is strong and he will be able to deal with it. No one spends time to understand if he's really able to deal with it or needs some help or someone to talk to. So at every stage, whenever the person gathers some courage to share his concerns and talks about the darker aspects of his life, the people around, instead of acknowledging the person's feeling and empathetically understanding his situation, just give generic solutions and philosophical advices. The person gradually starts to believe they are not understood by anyone, which is somewhat true. They also feel that no one loves them or wants them, which is not true. All these adds up over a period and the person's emotional health keeps worsening. All the people around who negated the feeling actually unintentionally contributed to it. So the problem is not just in the person who dies of suicide. The problem is amongst the people who are not able to identify that he is going that path. It's on both fronts. The root cause boils down to our irrelevant educational model and the conventional age-old parenting practices. Right from moral stories to nursery rhymes to academic chapter, assessment criteria to evaluation process, everything is more harmful than useful. We are not taught to deal with failures, with crisis, with emotional stress and pressure in our life. We are only taught how to compete and succeed at any cost. Our educational model only tests our information storage and retrieval abilities. Come on, man, we have technology for that. We can use Google when we need information. We need huge radical reforms in field of education and parenting. Need to educate every person on emotional intelligence at every stage of life, at every place, schools, colleges, universities, workplaces, or especially dedicated center like ours. Every school has mandatory PT classes, isn't it? For physical health. What about emotional health? A physically challenged person can live happily and be successful with the help of emotional intelligence. But an emotionally broken person may be depressed or die of suicide even if he is physically strong. So what's more important to learn? We all know these. We all agree as well. And when a celebrity suicide case happens, everyone intensely, passionately talks about it as the highest priority need. Then after a couple of days, it goes back to the lowest priority. I'm in this field for 2.5 years now, have approached several schools and colleges. They all agree and acknowledge the need, but no one wants to include it in their regular class and regular schedule. When I approach corporates, no one feels that the employees need this as much as the technical knowledge. It can positively impact their attitude, performance, efficiency, but since it can't be measured in numbers, they feel it's just a time pass. When I approach equity investors, they're not interested to invest as it's not a money spinner business. Government has many other social, political, economic priorities than reforming the education system. It's already over 70 years since independence and this has still not changed a bit. So till some of us continue to struggle to make some changes at right level, let me meanwhile suggest some measures for you to take care of your emotional health. First, do not compare your beginning with others' endpoint. Learn from them, their failures, their struggles. A 2-year experienced management graduate cannot compare himself with a 20-year experienced management leader. Ayushmann Khurrana of 2020 cannot compare himself with Amitabh Bachchan of 2020. It takes time and effort to progress and reach a higher stage. And the journey won't be same. The final stage won't be same. Everyone has their own path and own destination. Trust yourself and make your own identity. Then do not limit yourself. Explore. An engineer can become a writer or painter. An accountant can become a counselor. Do not restrict your thoughts. Keep exploring if you're not happy at one place. Be flexible, adapt to changes, job, relationship, everything will change. Nothing remains same. Next, do not underestimate yourself. You are unique. You have your own strengths and weaknesses. Do not measure yourself on others' scale. Measure your own progress from yesterday to today and keep moving. Next, do not try to please others. Do not seek validation from others. No one knows your situation and what you are going through. Only you know your situation, your hard work, efforts, your successes and failures, your feelings, your struggles. What you think of yourself is what matters, nothing else. Don't be afraid to do things you want to, just because the society may not approve of it. Next, be yourself. Do not pretend to be someone else or imitate others. Everyone has walked on different roads you don't know about. You can't be someone else. You are you. Next, take regular breaks from routine work and people. Spend time with yourself. Do things you love and want to do. Do not stop yourself. Go on solo vacations, sing, dance, draw, write, play, learn. Do whatever makes you happy and relaxes your mind. Take a break. Then unlearn and relearn. Throw away all such beliefs and principles, moral stories you have been taught during your growing age, which troubles you now. Not everything suits you. Men do not cry. Good couples do not break up. Stay in a stable, secure job. Don't take risks. There are many such beliefs infused in our mind which may trouble us later. Do not try to fit in the good person image society has created. Create your own image. Let go of all such bindings, beliefs, anything which does not help you grow and make happy. Most importantly, vent out. Cry out. It's okay to not be okay. If you can't find someone to talk, write on a paper and burn it. It's important to let go of your thoughts and feelings, else it will explode someday in a most unpleasant way. This is not an exhaustive list, but a few important ones. Now, I also want to suggest some measures so that you don't end up contributing to someone else's breakdown, depression, stress, or even death by suicide. First, do not negate or ridicule the feelings of your child or any person who shows the courage to share it with you. It may be trivial, small matter for you, but could be huge emotional battle for that person. Next, listen to understand, not to reply. Don't be judgmental. Do not give unsolicited advice at that moment. Just listen and acknowledge. Next, do not compare your child with others. Everyone has different skills and talent. Do not force your child to do things he or she does not like or may not be capable of. Instead, identify his strengths, skills, talent, and nurture those. If you can't identify, then take help of professionals like us to help you assess your child's EQ, strength, and interest area. Next, express your love and feeling. Show it. Not just remotely and virtually, but physically. Do not assume and take it for granted that the person knows your feeling. In the state of emotional breakdown, they doubt everyone's feeling. Next, do not ignore the signs of breakdown or emotional issues in a person. Is he or she showing mood swings, frustration, irritation in every small matter, behaving in an unusual way in recent days, has started to withdraw from people, maintaining distance, or stop sharing his thoughts, feelings, opinions, or making comments which sound like he or she is worthless? Watch out for these signs. If you can't do anything else, just do one thing. And it doesn't cost anything. Be kind. You don't know what the other person may be going through already. So be kind to everyone always. There are many other wonderful men like him amongst us. We can save them. Make sure no one is staring at his ceiling fan again. Thank you for listening to me.
Thanks for listening to me. Please share this video now with others on your Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. To get notified about next videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon. We'll meet again. Stay happy.